Well, a couple of interesting pieces of information dropped. One of them is an issue that has been plaguing Halo Infinite for nearly 2 whole years. An issue that has pissed off more players than any of us can count, and that would be Halo Infinite's networking. I don't know if anyone has played this game recently, but you'll definitely feel it from time to time where you know your latency is fine, but your hits tend to be more delayed or not register, getting shot when you weren't even fully peeking corners yet, or you'll just be walking around and get some occasional rubber banding just throwing off the rhythm of the entire game. It's pretty annoying when it happens, and it's an issue many people have been complaining about for what feels like almost 2 years. But thanks to senior community manager John Junasek, I hope I said his name right, we got some hopium to start huffing. I'm not gonna read this whole thing word for word right now, obviously. To sum it all up, yes, they know it's still a problem, and whatever they've been doing to slowly fix it hasn't worked, or at least not the way they want to. So instead, an overhaul is being developed for their networking model. Do we know how far they are into this overhaul? Kind of. They said they made significant progress, but it's still pretty vague. When can we expect this overhaul to be implemented? No clue. Like he said in the post, and I also think it's just logical thinking that overhauling the networking in Halo Infinite, it's going to take time, especially since it's very likely the people who made Halo Infinite's networking model aren't even there anymore. So I'd say don't try to put any expectations on when this is happening. For now, you'll just have to live with knowing it is going to be addressed at some point, which I doubt will be an issue for some people. Of course, the big question is, will this actually fix Halo Infinite's awful networking? We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I'd hope it would. Based off of the work and quick and pace they've been moving at since Season 4 with the shakeup in management, I'm leaning more towards giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm praying to God they finally resolve this problem. Now, I don't know how many of you have engaged with the custom game browser. I found myself waiting to join lobbies more so than actually playing the game itself is about my experience. It is an issue they are aware of, along with the bizarre fireteam shenanigans going on where you can't really join custom game lobbies with the boys. You gotta leave the fireteam and join in on them through your friends list. It's a weird and inconvenient process. Of course, you know, lucky for me, all my friends quit the game, so it's not a problem for me, but I still hope it gets fixed. I do want to mention that it's my hope they do more than just fix the connectivity issues. I really would prefer just a list of custom games I could scroll up and down, as well as a better search function. I'm kind of getting sick of having to turn pages and look at all these dumb boxes, dude. So if anyone from 343 by some miracle is listening to me, I'm basically just asking if you could make it easier to navigate and more pleasing to look at. So here's something that's really good to hear. Shoulders are going to be the next addition in this battle for true cross-core customization, on top of more armor coatings being multi-core use, and I hope that means coatings from the older seasons like Season 1. Seeing that the HCS team bundles from Season 1 are going to be targeted gives me some hope, because I got a bunch of old coatings for both my Spartans and weapons that are unfortunately still limited to like 3 armor cores, if not just 1. I'd really like to see them be applicable to all my cores, because if there's one thing I hate more than anything is my weapons and armor not having matching aesthetics, because I can't apply some of my favorite coatings to all my weapons. Of course, we don't know when this is happening, and I don't want to tell you something like, my god you guys, it's happening, Season 6, it's gonna happen, it's gonna be freaking huge, let's go. I'm not saying this can't happen. When it comes to these unconfirmed timelines, I just usually tell myself, I don't know, maybe Season 7 or 8 will get that, who knows. That way I don't set myself up for disappointment in the event it doesn't happen next season, while also setting myself up to be pleasantly surprised if it does happen next season. That's what I'd personally recommend you do, but you manage your expectations however you want. But let's all be happy that at least we got confirmation from someone who actually works at 343 that it is happening, as opposed to like a leak. They're also looking at stability and crashing, and I got no horse in this race. As a PC player, I think I've only ever crashed once in this game, and that's not me being everyone's favorite internet commenter. I'm just saying that I'm happy for anyone who is having these issues. You might be in luck. We'll see what happens. That's about it for that little tweet X post. X'd? I don't know what we're supposed to be calling it these days. I'm sort of ignoring that last bit about the mid-season update since it's stuff we already know and the rest is relatively vague. However, there is a bit of bad news to cover and I wanted to save it for last. Community Director Sketch has given us an answer on why shop prices are so insane. To summarize, them making more coatings and helmets multi-core use has made them perceive these bundles as more valuable. They're even taking into account the shoulder multi-core update before it's even out. Now, this is absurd for a couple reasons, and I think they even know it is, considering he says he knows it's not what we wanted to hear, which makes me wonder if this is Microsoft or some higher up making this call to make up for revenue loss. Anyway, firstly, it's ridiculous that fixing an issue that 343 made themselves, that being cross-core customization, something we all wanted fixed since Season 1, has resulted in them raising the prices. Like, excuse me? Secondly, is this supposed to be a sign of things to come for any changes to monetization or progression? Like, what are the prices going to be like if they add multi-core functionality to things like utility slots and wrists? It also makes me worry a bit for how much they are going to price items individually if they ever allow us to buy things individually. It's also killing my hopes of them actually making the progression in Halo Infinite meaningful, something I've wanted since day one, because it sounds like them fixing the game is going to result in them asking for more money through the shop as opposed to a better avenue. And I think the CE kit is a good example of that. The way I see it, this shop is a scam, and I get wanting to support the game, but I want to repeat something I said in a previous video, which is that there is such a thing as rewarding a studio too much. Like, if you bought every single bundle released in Season 5, you've effectively overpaid for a newly developed AAA price game. Like, this is madness. I can't see any timeline where I will ever buy into this. I'd rather buy a second copy of Baldur's Gate 3 as a gift for a friend. Like hell, I'm dropping any money in this shop the way it is now. It's not good, and the shop, like I said many times, is a huge turnoff for many returning players. If you want this game to do well and make a comeback, then you should care about how they balance progression and monetization, because defending it, saying things like it's free to play, who cares, is not going to do this game any favors, when customization is a huge deal for many people, especially with Halo, a game that used to have satisfying customization and progression. And I'm gonna stop myself there, otherwise I'll be here for an hour if I go on. It's not my preference to speak this way about Halo Infinite, but I'm not gonna lie to myself and ignore these types of issues the game has. Anyway, let me know what you guys think if you care about these bits of information like I do. Oh, like the video and subscribe to the channel, you kind person who for some reason likes my takes. I have no idea why, but I appreciate it.